A Redeemed Captive by Letitia Elizabeth Landon. Glanced the white moonlight o'er the silver wave, clear, colourless, with not one stain or shade, save when the little vessel passed and gave its image to the waters, and so made the moment darkness, as the beakers lave themselves in that bright bath. How glad she springs, like seabird forth upon his glittering wings. Within that little bark are joy and love, and hope almost too anxious for content. And grateful eyes seek the blue heaven above, and eager gaze o'er the far sea is bent. With cross and prayer, 2 priests amid them move. Upon a blessed mission they were sent. The pious ransom was not urged in vain. The Christian captive quits his Moorish chain. Near to their harbour, the fair winding shore, shows olive groves crusted with the pearl dew, and chestnuts tall, which seem as if they bore a century's growth. Close and more close they drew. Cadiz, the white walls shun the moonbeams o'er, like prisoned birds, each heart throbbed at the view. One moment more, the galley feels the strand, rescued prisoners touch their native land. And there were meetings such as make the past forgotten, of what past had been life's worst. Mother and child, maiden and youth, are cast each on the other's heart. Breathless at first, the lips but look their meaning, till at last tears make a way for words. A passionate burst comes of thanksgiving, or life this is bliss, but years of pain must purchase hours like this. But follow we our captive, one whose vest, and more stately step and bearing proud, spoke nobler birth and being than the rest. A fair train waited him amid the crowd, and eagerly an aged servant pressed, as by long service privileged allowed, and caught his young lord's hand, then turned away to weave the welcome that he could not say. My father, tell me, Gracia, is he well? Oh, God, have kept him in his trial hour. And she, mine own, my gentle Isabel? Slowly the answer came. Within her bower such constant tears for thy long absence fell, that somewhat they have dimmed thy lovely flower. But thou art come and come again to see roses which seemed as if they fled with thee. He leapt upon his steed, and like the wind they speed them on. At first his giddy brain swam like a chaos, mystery of a wind which would guide its own workings, but in vain. Happy he was, but somewhat undefined, pressed on his spirit with a sense of pain. Half a heart, then, foreknowledged of its fate, warning at once, too early and too late. Eager he flung him from his horse. He sees his father's towers mid the dark pines arise. Beautiful in the moonlight's last, those trees hide a small pathway green. Direct it lies, to the castle gardens allowed the breeze with lemon odours and the rose's sighs. He turned him to that path, he knew it well, it was his favourite walk with Isabel. He took that path, and many a sign was there, and sweet shrub planted, and in little flower trained, of gentle nursing and of gentle care, and dear thoughts entrance in his bosom gained. Was it for his sake it had once such share of a fond culture? Had she then retained such deep true memory of love's early scene, as to make all a shrine where it had been? He entered now the garden, and the fall of singing, voice and lute, sang on his ear. At first it seemed thrice sweet and musical, but it grew sadder as he came more near. He heard soft tones, he could distinguish all, but not the one voice that he sought to hear. Dark was the castle, save one red drear glare from the chief hall. What might such light mean there? He rushed in, and the steps seemed harshly loud, and jarred his ear. So still was all around. Maidens were there, the faces downwards bowed, and tears had stopped their dirge. As if spellbound he stood, he saw the coffin and the shroud. The pale flowers scattered o'er the sacred ground. He rushed and raised the pall. His young, his fair, he knew the dead, and knew his own despair. His heart was wrecked for ever. For a while he stayed to watch his father's dying bed, but nevermore knew he a tear or smile. Their sources, fears and hopes, were with the dead. Then not that fame had aught that could beguile, but for its fate sought he the warfare red, and died in battle,